And all we did was Frédérique move the wine glass. She only blacked out for seconds, but her body gave out. We had.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Done Over Perfect podcast. My name is Chris Lee, and today on the show, fashion photographer Benjamin Kanarek. Benjamin is currently based in Paris, and his amazing fashion photography has appeared in Vogue, Harper's Bazaar, Glamour, Elle. I mean, just to name a few. We had such a great time the first time. He had to come back. I mean, it had to be done. Benjamin, can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
How you doing,
I'm really
man?
good. It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure to be back.
Thank you. Well, I know you've got some big projects in the works, and what I'd like to do, if we could, is talk about the Vogue film shoot. You live in Paris, and you're going to do this incredible Vogue film shoot. How do you start something like that?
I was commissioned by the magazine to do this shoot. The theme of the actual story had to have something to do with cinema because it was a film issue. Frédérique and I, my partner, we were discussing how could we best serve the theme of the magazine? How could we do it, especially under the circumstances we're living under, which is, as you know, COVID-19 and all of the restrictions. Right. And as you know, at least in Paris, pretty much all of the hotels were closed. So we had several issues that we had to deal with and solve before we could even embark on putting the production together. We finally, after discussing it, decided perhaps it would be a great idea to set up a scenario where we actually see the set of a film being shot, a major motion picture being shot on location. And I was there to chronicle it. Perhaps I was the guy on the set hired by the production company to film the actual filming of a movie.
So it starts with a story. In other words, you come up with a story idea first.
Absolutely. You just don't do a shoot without having a theme. So you see all of the lights, they're all exposed. You see all of the crew. The more crew on the set for me, the better. I wanted them to dress, kind of uniformly in black so they didn't stand out and take away from the major subject, which was obviously Tiana Tolstoi. So we decided that the scene would take place in the iconic lobby of the Hotel Regina. Everyone can look that up. I brought all the gear. In fact, I made sure that I brought classic cinema lighting to the shoot that would not only really be integrated as a lighting source for the shoot, but would be set up as if you were actually shooting the scene. The mandarin, the orange mandarin lights we had on the set were used to light the scene for both the video that Frédérique filmed and the stills that I shot. That really freed me up because we didn't give a crap about what was on the set. I bought a clapboard for the shoot, which you see in the images. So the next step, obviously, is we've now informed the magazine that is our theme, and they're thoroughly stoked and really thrilled, obviously. We then go through our process of putting our team together. Now, the first person we have to find is the stylist, even before the model. Because it is.
So wait, you hadn't had the model yet?
No, we hadn't even of course we didn't even start the casting yet. Because the key to every major photo shoot, regardless of whether it's fashion or beauty or accessories or jewelry, is the styling, is the stylist. So we went shopping and we found someone. Now that we had our stylist, we then were able to do a think tank discussion between Frédérique, our stylist, and myself about what is it we're trying to accomplish and the type of looks that we're going to integrate into the shoot. And very quickly, I need everyone to know that it isn't just carte blanche about the looks you choose. You choose looks that correspond with the season in which the images will be shown in the magazine. So,
are you only working with Frédérique, or were there any other people providing input to the creative aspect?
No, not at all. It was just Frédérique and I, because the way it works with Frédérique and I, and maybe we're lucky, is that once we have an approved theme, we have carte blanche. We have complete freedom, which is wonderful. It was Frédérique and I who decided on the stylist, and the stylist we did decide on was a stylist we had worked before for Vogue magazine, and we felt he could do the job, and he did it. Okay, so now we have our stylist. So now the big classic thing. Either I know specifically the girl I'm looking to get and trying to get. If I can get her, I'll be happy. So before I even do a specific casting, I'll go directly to that agency, regardless of what agency it is. Maybe it's Titanium, and I'll say, can we get Karen Jepkeme for this shoot? Or Frédérique will look and go, oh my God, this girl at models.com is rising really quickly. And so we call the agency and say, will they be in Paris for the collections? And they'll say, well, look, if you can assure us that you will definitely book her, we will go out of our way and make sure we get her into town. We knew she was available. We didn't confirm her. We don't confirm anyone until we have the accord of the magazine. So they knew who she was, and they went, yeah, okay, go. And it was like the shortest sentence, yeah, go for her. We then start casting for hair, makeup, and we had a manicurist on this as well. When you're shooting for a magazine as important as Vogue, what I like to do, for me personally, to keep me in my comfort zone, is to work with at least one individual you've worked with in the past, so you feel at home. You know, you feel it's like a family. So we had our team, we had our date, we showed up the day of the shoot, brought all the gear.
Now, how does gear fit into all this? Do you go through a testing
I knew
period
you'd have
before?
to.
We got to talk about gear. I mean, you're going to a photo shoot.
For me, it's the least important and the easiest. I know the space I'm shooting in, but I also see light with my eyes. I can feel light. I know the kind of ambient light. I know it's on the ground level. I know it doesn't get that bright, but I know there's ambient light. I know that if we're ready to start shooting around 11 a.m. after hair, makeup, and nails have been done, I figure we're going to be on the set. We start at 9, so we'll be up shooting our first change between 10:30 and 11.
Do you recommend photographers go to the location in advance to do exactly that, to see the lights?
Absolutely. Yeah. At least get a lay of the land, because at least that'll give you an opportunity to plan what you're going to do. It'll give you an idea of where you can go from A to B, from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 to 5, clothing change, where you're going to shoot it, blah, 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 blah. I didn't want to take my GFX. I shot it. Yeah, I shot the whole thing at 80 ISO. I just think it's got a little bit less noise, and people could.
At 80?
Look at his face. Because there's less noise. There's less grain. There's less grain. Yeah, there's less grain. If you know your latitude, if you know your extremes, I mean, I don't even have to argue the point. Unequivocally, I know the base ISO is 160. When you shoot at 80, you put it at 160, you look in the shadows at 160 and look at an 80. The 80 looks like a really good full frame Nikon
in the raw file.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. In the raw file.
I'm actually really stunned that you shoot at 80, which I mean, I'd like to do some trying out and testing. That's incredible. That's incredible.
Please.
So 80
in Capture One, remember, of course.
In Capture One. So 80 ISO. Yeah. All right. So you got your XT4, your XT3.
Yeah, both. We used both on the shoot because I just received the XT4s, and I would have done the XT3s with no problem. So I only had one flash unit, which I didn't want to look like a flash unit at all, which I think I accomplished. I don't think any of the images look like flash. I read for my ambient first. I'm pretending like I'm not using my flash. So I read the room, and I'm reading it, and I'm seeing that at 80, man, 1/20th of a second, that's what you need to shoot at to bring in the kind of luxurious, dreamy, David Hamilton light flooding into the lobby. And knowing that, I'm knowing that I'm going to be using my monopod, and I know that I'm okay because when I press the shutter, it's the flash that'll freeze that moment. And I'm not going to go out of my way to shake the image. So I used just a monopod to, handle the downstroke shock. Interesting. I usually shoot TTL. I didn't on this. I brought my flash meter, and I was getting away with 8th and 16th. Yeah, 8th power, man. It was just really, I kid you not. So I was probably shooting at 35 watt seconds, and I like drop off, Chris. You would ask, well, the question would be, okay, well, what about a full body shot? Unless you have a full window light from the ceiling to the floor, let's call the umbrella, for all intent and purpose, a window light. Let's forget it's a flash. So whenever you use a flash, think of it as a window. If you were standing maybe, I won't use metric, if you were standing 10 feet from a window and it was side lighting you and you were speaking to someone in front of you, if that window doesn't go to the ground. It doesn't go all the way to the ground. You're going to have some fall off from maybe the waist down, okay? So when I light my subject, I love the drop off. I don't want to light it in a way that's totally unnatural. I don't find, it's not natural to have even lighting from the top of your head to your toe, because it just doesn't work that way. Unless you're in front of a window that's facing a beach and there's overcast sky coming in and you've got that, then yes. So just remember, for all of you shooters out there, regardless of the light source you're using, if it's natural light, flash, cob light, continuous light, it's all light. But to make the game, the fun of it, you want to play like a kid, just pretend it's not a flash, it's a window light. So if you're using a bare bulb on a flash, what kind of window light would create that? Well, that would be a really hard sunlight bouncing off of a mirror, perhaps, and hitting your subject. So just pretend, whenever you use a flash or any other ambient light, just imagine, how would nature recreate that in reality? But all these photographers who go outside, and obviously they're shooting, and let's say the ambient light is f8, so they're shooting with their flash at f16 to really overpower the sun, so you get super saturated colors, blah, blah. You know those pictures. But guess what? That happens in reality as well, because those wonderful moments when you're having a thunder shower and there's this opening in the sky that opens up, and the sun shines through that little spot and hits an object, that's exactly like using flash outdoors with, Anyways, I'm going to shut up for a moment. I'm going way off the tangent. Bring me back, Chris.
I am riveted by this. I mean, and a lot of other photographers are. This is great. I mean, thinking about it as a window, and keep going, man.
Yeah, but I think it's a good idea. I mean, forget it's a flash. I mean, I know it's a way of thinking. Pretend. Here's how you should be thinking, or how you could be thinking. You walk into a space and think, like I'm looking at my space right now, okay, living room. And I'm thinking, it's really warm, it's soft light. But I'm thinking, what if it was 7:30 in the evening and the sun is setting and it's super warm and, there's a little bit of mist? Well, just do that. And I also would like to say that there's no such thing as fake light. Even if it's the most strangely lit, unpredictable light ever, it's possible in nature. Whatever you do, whatever you light, just make sure that when you do light it, you can stand by what you're doing, and it just comes across as you being able to see it in nature. That's all. So I'm going to shut up now.
No,
and let's
Benjamin,
get back to what we're talking about.
That segment on lighting is so important. I can't think of anything more important, actually. That's really, really great stuff.
Here's something you mustn't forget. Tell me, you have a frame, right? Who's to tell you what's outside of the frame? Who knows where the light source was outside of the frame? Nobody knows. Nobody knows that next to the model was a huge dormer window, okay? No, or a bay window, unless you show it in the image. If you're not showing it in the image, for all intent and purpose, you could say, yeah, she was sitting next to a bay window. So create that bay window, either shoot through a huge white scrim. Whatever's outside of the frame is where you can really, really get creative, like we did in the Gentleman Only shoot. Let's talk about it. Okay, it was really racy. It was. It could have been racier. I'm not as grungy as some photographers. And it was a challenge to me to get grungy. Even Frédérique said she knows it's hard for me to do that. For me personally, that was also a challenge, but I needed to stretch my limits. The reason we had to do that was the theme was Studio 54 in New York in 1979. Snorting coke in the toilets, which we didn't do, but we had sugar and obviously. Eric, our stylist, actually took some sugar cubes and ground them down. There's one scene you have to look. No, but really, there's one scene. If you look super closely at her finger, you see a line of coke on her index finger. Video? No, in the video and in the stills. But but it's really quick. And if you don't know what to look for, you'll never see it. But it's there. We knew that the toilets of this incredibly gorgeous 5-star hotel had these really ornate toilets. This toilet, which was all granite. And we wanted to recreate the disco environment. I even brought a disco ball. which I cut my finger on, by the way.
Was that your disco ball from the 70s, or did you buy another one?
No, I bought it for another. No, that's a good question. I know I bought two, okay? I also bought a smoke machine, not for this shoot. I'm the kind of guy who doesn't rent shit. I'll just go out and buy it. But this disco ball, it was so old, the little glass cubes were starting to fall off. And, now check this out. I'm going to get off. You'll be able to look at the images. You'll see them. There are two of them. You'll see. In my right hand, I'm holding the camera vertically. Yeah. And in my left hand, I'm moving the disco ball in front of the camera so I can frame the image. So you know the images I'm talking about. So you'll see upper left, you'll see the disco ball, which is out of focus because I'm focusing on Aurika and her girlfriend. I would be moving the disco ball in and out of the image, me looking in the back. It was very artisanal, let's put it that way. And it couldn't be anyone else because they couldn't see what I was seeing. And so it made it look more realistic. Now, one might ask, what kind of angle is that? Why would the disco ball be where they're at? That was kind of disconcerting. I don't have an answer for that, to be honest. I don't think,
here's the thing,
crazy.
though, and I want everyone to hear this. Now that you mention it, I'm looking at that photo, and there is something off about the angle, for sure. There wouldn't be a ball like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
But had you not said anything, it just brought the vibe of 1979 to me.
We're distorting reality now. Who's to say that in this club, there isn't a tiny alcove, a private room, that has an incredibly low ceiling? No, a cave, a basement cave in a club that has very low Casablanca vibe that only has a 4-foot ceiling. And the only way you can sit down is you have to sit on pillows. And there's a little disco ball just above your head. I can imagine that could be the rationale for that image.
This shot right here,
they're called Victor and Rolf, okay? And this is kind of a parody of the Queen, as you can see. She's sitting on the throne.
Right.
So the idea was the following. In the late 70s, early 80s, people didn't give a shit if it said men or women on the you just went in and you used whatever was available, okay? She was wearing her crown, but she doesn't know someone's taking a picture of her, okay? Because if you watch the video, you see her losing her temper and going, what? And closing the door, because if you watch that, you'll see the scene where she gets pissed off. That's Fred's idea, which was brilliant. So she's saying basically, fuck off, and closes the door. And as the door closes on the mirrored door, then Frédérique cuts to another scene. But this was perfect because it was kind of a parody of the Queen. And here's the Queen sitting on her throne, and the door has a mirror on it, and we had her pull the door as close to her legs as possible. So we had that double exposure. And I thought that was really fun.
This one right here, you must have had fun with your makeup artist.
Oh. Okay, this is what I want to tell you. Yes, it's based on the Robert Palmer video, Addicted to Love, where you see all of the models in the background. They all have the same makeup. So it's like they're wearing a mask. Any of those girls, they almost look identical. And this is how we wanted Aurika to look, because that's how makeup was worn. So she's putting on the blush, and I'm saying, more blush. I need her to look sluttier. She's got to look. I said that.
You said that?
No, she doesn't look slutty enough. I said, look, Aurika, I need to tell you something. It's pure professionalism. On today's shoot, I am not here. I do not exist. You do not see me. You're at a club. You're pissed drunk. And I need to feel that and see that in your performance. You are going to have to act. Now, if you cannot act, and I said this right to her, I said, I have a feeling that you're going to feel a little bit uncomfortable. I need you to know, if I push you really hard, it's out of respect to you. I need you to know it's not personal. It's like shooting a film. And if you need to lose your temper, please do, but don't leave the set, okay? I need you to know it's out of the love and respect for our project. And so I had to push her on a few occasions. And she was wonderful. And what's great, what a metamorphosis. By the 2/3 of the day, she was beaming, Chris. She was so happy. For her, it was a turning point. We gave her a totally new image. Now she's with Ford Agency in New York. Oh. And I think that's as a result of the images. It was like shooting a film from 1979. For this shoot, I bought some really shitty UV filters And I took hairspray because I wanted it to look like Love Boat. You know, when the older actresses would come in super close. You know, the actress who's like in her mid-80s, but they're coming in super close, and they got that super soft focus filter, so you don't see any wrinkles. That is the look I was going for. So what you do is you take the UV filter with the screw, imagining the screw part that's going into the actual lens. And that's the side you want to spray, not the front of the filter. So you spray up into the air, not on the filter. You spray up into the air, your hairspray. You swing your hand through it once. You do it again. Swing it through, and you keep looking at the bag. No, that's not enough. You hold it up to your eye. No, it's not enough. I was averaging 6 or 7 sprays to get what I wanted. Okay, that's the first part. And the second part, to make it even more tacky, and I use the term tacky with a capital T, I used cross-star filter.
Did you really?
Yes. And that's why you're getting the cross stars. So I used a 6 cross-star filter for the stills. And Freddie had an 8 cross-star filter for the video. And so when you watch the video, want to dance, you see right in the beginning when she's, dancing into the lens, into the camera, look behind her, see that light? Well, that's the cross-star filter. And the opening for the cover, you see the cover where she's sitting on the urinal.
Yeah.
You see that shot with the bright light coming into us?
I sure do.
That's a 6 cross-star filter, and that is the flash going off. I didn't want any diffusion. I wanted it to look like paparazzi in a club. And so that's the light shooting right into her. And the red light you're seeing is my assistant outside of the frame, literally if you move the vertical frame over an inch, is holding on to one of the Light, the RB9 little square powerful on red only, and we mixed flash and that ambient light, and that's what we got. I loved it. Yeah, it was so much fun.
Wonderful shot. And when you were on set, did you tell them, okay, first, we're going to do the part, you're a little drunk, you're at the club, and you're starting to dance. Then you're going to do some coke, and you're going to get all wired up from that. Then you're going to get drunk, and you're going to be exhausted.
I've got a story for you, Chris. You're like almost psychic. Again, you're doing a Chris Lee like the last time. I'm not kissing your ass or blowing smoke up your ass. Check this out. You're going to freak. You see the image where she's on the floor with the wine glass next to her? Look at her face.
Yeah.
And you see the wine?
Oh, yeah.
In the glass?
Yep.
Are you ready for the story? Okay. This was the beautiful bathroom. I mean, it's all with gold faucets and beige granite. It's a circular bathroom. We were getting her ready. The first shot I thought of, which was a failure, was that she would look at herself in the mirror, like touching up her lipstick, like in a club, she's leaning over into the mirror. So I was looking through my camera, realizing, her face is going to look too tiny. The back of the outfit, clothing, isn't that exciting. No. So I backed out, and then the whole team was about 2 or 3 meters outside of the bathroom in this kind of round circular entrance. And I see her shaking. It was almost as if she was having a stroke. And I said to her, "Oh, that's a great idea. That's brilliant. Listen, I didn't know. That's brilliant." I see her starting to waver, starting to move her body going. And I went running up to her, and her eyes were up in the air. She was fainting.
What?
She was blacking out. Eric came running over. She blacked out. We were ready to call the ambulance. This was the second shot of the day.
Wow.
And we thought, oh my God, I hope she doesn't die on the set. It was really scary. We gave her some sugar. Frédérique gave her some Alterient liposomal vitamin C, which went right away. And literally, I kid you not, within 15 seconds, she said, "I'm fine." But she was fine. She was great. She was back to normal. I think she had low blood sugar, or she probably didn't eat very much for the last week or something. And anyway, she ends up on the floor. I need you to know, this had to be the greatest trooper, courageous model I've ever worked with. I mean, she was so professional. She's on the floor, and opportunistic me and Eric
Hold it right there. Good.
Exactly. Don't move. Just stay there. You don't even have... Where she was lying down was where we lay her down. And all we did was Frédérique moved a wine glass. She only blacked out for seconds. Okay. But her body gave out. We literally, we had to hold her up. Had she, we had to keep her from falling and injuring herself. So we lay her down. To
get the shot, right?
Together, and then
I'm just kidding.
No, you're being a prick. No. Now that would be the epitome. That would be in the film Devil Wears Prada. Okay.
Right. Not that I think that way, right?
Oh yes, you do. Anyways. It's like saying to a model, jump off the Eiffel Tower. You'll only get one take, but it'll be the best shot. Well, anyways, we immediately brought her sugar. She came out of it really quickly. Frédérique had her take down some of that liposomal vitamin C, which is very gluant, very, it's a gluey texture, and it really... She came back. That is how we got that shot. And the only thing we had to do in post-prod, because it was only water in the glass, was we changed it to red. Because... when we came into the toilets, we wanted to fuck them up really bad. So they were already fucked up.
Were they out of order, or did you put that black tape across them?
No, they were out of order. Right. The guy at the hotel who invited us in said, "Do you want me to clean up the toilet? It's a mess." I said,
leave it, it's perfect.
Don't touch a thing. Please. Exactly. It's perfect. Because that's how a toilet looks at 3 in the morning or 4 or 5 in the morning,
Let's talk about, you said there was another shoot called...
the most recent one, the black and white story.
Talk about that.
Skyrider. I mean, check out those shoes.
I know.
It's a uni look. It's Givenchy. The whole look is Givenchy. And
what angle lens are you using?
It's the lens that I wanted really badly for the shoot, and thank God I got it. I almost bought a 7.5 millimeter, and I thought to myself, Kanarek, you're going to piss your money away. You know why? You'll get the lens. It's manual focus. You'll never pick it up. You'll never use it for a professional shoot. Right. You'll use, even with the incredible focusing aids, you're just not going to do it. So just be happy that you have a 10 millimeter. And I didn't want the 8-16 because I liked being able to go from 10 to 24. It's the brand new 10 to 24 water resistant OIS Fuji lens. I'm going to tell you something. This lens is fucking sharp. It's incredible lens. It's like, it was so much fun. I went through all my EXIF files just to see, because I'm getting the 23 millimeter for my GFX, which is, for all intent and purpose, an 18 on the APS-C would be a 12 millimeter. Okay, we know that. Okay. So I wanted to know what would that, because that's the widest lens you can get for the GFX. And that's why I didn't use the GFX for this, because the widest I had at the time was the 32 of the 32-64, which is okay. It's like 25 millimeters, but it's not crazy wide. So I would say about 75% were shot at 10, which is 15. But surprisingly to me, many of them were shot at 12 and 13, maybe 14 millimeters. And actually one of them was shot at 18, which is like a 27. Because of my angle. But in most cases, the most outlandish ones, the shoe shot was not as outlandish. I think it was the equivalent of a 24 millimeter. Oh, yeah, you do. That's interesting. You haven't asked me about the lighting yet. I'm a little bit surprised.
Tell me about the lighting there,
Chris.
Benjamin.
You've let me down.
Sorry, man.
I'll never do another interview with you again. Okay. It's over between us. It's done. I'm going to hang up now.
Shoes and the lighting. Actually, shoes and the lighting.
Okay, so I had 2 assistants on the shoot. I initially started with TTL, and I freaked out because TTL just doesn't work as well outside as I wanted it to. So I used, again, but I didn't have my flash meter. I didn't give a shit because I just, you do 1 or 2 shots and you nail it after a couple of tests. We were holding a RAW, the AD200, just on a light stand, folded up so she could hold on to it, and she would follow her moves and stay within 2 meters from her, angled down at around 60 degrees, and the flash was in the vertical direction because I didn't even use the round reflector. And it was just hard light. But because, again, I only wanted to match the daylight, I didn't want it to scream, "Hi, I'm using a flash." I don't see any images there that look like flash. It's all balanced. You see the background and the foreground. They look balanced. So I needed to fill because I was lying on my back in most cases. That's why it's called Skyrider, because the whole shoot was sky as a background.
I wanted to ask you about that because when you got to La Défense, you obviously can't predict the weather. And right. So when you got there, was it a matter of oh my gosh, the sky looks incredible. Let's just go that
No,
route.
that's not what happened. I'm going to be really honest with you. And I'm going to
Okay.
tell you the truth because I don't want to lie to you. The weather we knew was going to be relatively overcast. There are two things that'll give it away. If you watch the video, you'll see where Frédérique comped in sky, filmed sky. Okay. A week before the shoot, I went to Sacré-Cœur. It was a cloudy day. I waited for a really sunny, cloudy day, okay, where you have intermittent clouds and sun. And I went up to Sacré-Cœur, the top, and just took the 10 to 24 lens and started shooting sky like crazy. Tons of sky. And we comped in the clouds. To comp in the clouds and do the right perspective is the challenge. Do you understand what I'm saying? And that's where Frédérique's brief. Frédérique could have done it. She's an incredible retoucher, but she didn't got the time. So Frédérique briefed Olga, our retoucher, when you introduce the sky, be conscious of two things. The perspective, okay, and how she distorts the perspective. And remember, you have to put clouds on the buildings. Because if you don't have clouds reflecting on the buildings, it's going to look fake. So it was an incredible challenge. So that's how we got what we got. Remember I said at the beginning of our discussion, you can recreate reality. But if you want to recreate reality in this situation, you have to remember the sun is shining somewhere. And the sun is hitting an object somewhere and it's reflecting off of something. Now, because I was shooting up at her and she was looking down on me in 60 or 70% of the images, I could have brought up the light on her face by 2 stops, but she would have been soft and the background would have... Of course, that happens in real life, of course, but I wanted it to be, well, hey, we don't know where she's at. Is there a mirror light of a building hitting her back in the face? It's always about balance. That's all I'm going to say.
What would you recommend to someone who is really intimidated with strobes or lights and they see your work and the way you've blended it so well? The open window analogy is awesome.
I hope that's helpful. Okay.
Do you have any other... It is. And do you have any other tips for things like, let's say you're shooting outdoors. What's some of your tricks
making
for
it look natural,
avoiding the outdoor flash thing?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
This is going to sound really simple, and it is. Always match or even under by a third, your ambient with your flash. Always match it. Don't go over it. You have to look at your surroundings. If you see in the background the sky, there's no thunder clouds and it's not black and menacing, then the possibility of getting that stream of light hitting your subject there's potential for that. But there isn't if your day is just simply overcast. So what I recommend you do is just think of it this way. Pretend when you have your model there, pretend there's a building behind you or there's a building to your sides, and that building is reflecting light back on your model. And if that is the case, that reflection, if it's like a white wall or a beige wall, it won't overpower the model because it's reflecting the available light. So in most cases, and I've measured this, it may be a third under. But if you didn't use it, you'd be under by a full stop perhaps, or maybe more. So what I recommend people do, I use, and to be quite frank, with my Godox 8600, I use TTL because I'm lazy. And what I do is I adjust accordingly. So because it's TTL, which is great, it's reading the ambient light of the environment, I know it's going to give me what I want. So I do my first flash, and I think most cases it overexposes for some reason. And so I find myself with the AD600, my flash is under from anywhere from 1 to 1.5 stops for some reason. But when I do see the results, you don't know it's got flash. It just has, the word I would like to use is presence. It has presence. Just try to think in terms of my flash is not a flash. It's just a light source that's reflecting from somewhere. And when you go outside, think of that as a set. Think of every place that you're shooting in as a set. Treat a flash as if it's a reflector. That's the way to go. Think of it as a reflector. Okay. And then you'll start to make your stuff look real.
And for your shutter speed, like on that shoot that you did for Sky,
the Sky shoot.
What was... Yeah.
Okay, so obviously I was using high-speed sync. For example, 1/500th of a second at f4, because it's an f4 lens. She was standing up on a block of granite. I guess that's 10 millimeters. I didn't even think of that lens until I realized, Kanarek, you don't have anything wider than 16 millimeters for your Fuji gear. And when I've shot 16, it looks cool. It's like a 24. When you come in super close to the subject, you get the subject, but you also get all that surrounding stuff. And I love that.
Yeah.
And,
like shoes.
Yeah, the shoes. Those are the Doc Martens. Yeah. Or the shoe, whatever you're looking. Let me see what you're looking at. That's crazy. That was our I guess the climax of the shoot. Yeah, the jumping. You're looking at the jumping in the air one. There were 3 in the sequence. I was really scared for her. You need to know this. The one you're looking at there, I was really frightened because on the other side, our stairs going down into the subway. So had she fallen behind her, and she made the shoot. This is one person who had no problem expressing herself. From the get-go, you press the start button. Yeah. She was like a Duracell battery on steroids.
That's great.
It is. That's the shoot. And
I think it's one of your best. I actually like
I agree.
Skywriter.
I love it.
I mean, the 1979 disco one was a real departure for a lot of your work from what I've seen. And I love it.
True.
But Skywriter just has this vibe that I personally dig. I love it.
You know, Chris, I got to tell you, it was a lot of fun, and it was very exhausting, but it was worth it.
And I'm going to have links to everything we talked about today, all of the BK Mag, the YouTube videos, the behind the scenes stuff, all of it will be in the description down below this video. Please go check it out. Benjamin's work is incredible. For those of you just joining us, Benjamin got a new microphone.
I sound so sexy to myself. I've never heard myself sound so good. I'm going to do a phone sex tape of myself talking to myself.
Right. Perfect.
Thanks, I know, avoid that. Anyways, so...
now we return to our regularly scheduled program. All right, so...
Oh, this is a family show, of course.